Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, that's it right there.
Oh yeah. Can you hear
That's a
that?
good one. Yeah, I can. That's a good one.
Welcome everybody. I thought this would be appropriate. And I can only play about 45 seconds of this. I don't own the rights to this music. Do you want me? Are you gonna call me? You gonna call me like you said you would? Is this really your phone number? Y'all youngsters out there don't know nothing about that. I'm a man now, baby. I'm a grown man.
If
And I
only it was
came a
that
long
easy.
way. There you go. There you go. Y'all youngsters out there, y'all might not know nothing about this right here, but this is a classic. Add this to your repertoire. Alexa, pause. Okay. I thought that
Mhm.
would be an appropriate way to get into tonight's subject because it's going to be a little heavy, as you guys know. Welcome on this December 9th to another edition of Real Talk for Real Men. Hump Day. Hopefully everybody's having a great week. There's lots going on as usual. But you know what? If we're above ground, then we're doing all right. So
Yeah.
we'll start there. So hopefully everybody's out there coping with whatever's been thrown at them. You know, if your family's safe, job and everything, count your blessings. We all need each other's prayers and support. So with that said, we're going to get into this conversation. Of course, we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about tonight, rather. We're going to be talking about dating in the Me Too era. And we've
Mm.
talked around this many, many times, but we decided to tackle it tonight. One of my viewers, he specifically asked in last week's session that we take topics, how do we come up with
Mhm.
topics? And he had a bunch of questions. This was my nephew Terry. And I thought it was appropriate to address this. He's in that dating pool, that prime dating pool, you
Mhm.
know. So he's out there, single, looking even. And between you and I, we talk all the time about, some of the different, challenges of dating, in 2021. In
Mhm.
this Me Too era, he meets women in various places, and we've talked about this from the inception of this show. How do you meet women? Where do you meet them? What do you say? How do you women want to be approached? And so I wanted to tackle it tonight. And I want to say for the record, as always, when we do Real Talk for Real Men, it's always coming from a place of no judgment. So let me start there. So even though the subject matter may get a little heavy, we're not here to judge. I don't have the answers.
Mhm.
I'm not. I don't have the answers. I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on Facebook. I'm as much of a participant as I am the host. So for anybody listening to my voice, a lot of times the questions I'm asking, it's for me. It's the same way it's for you. So I hope that we get some people to join. I've actually sent out not only the invitation to the show through the Facebook universe where you can see what the topic is. I took my time to send out the individual links. And just in case you didn't receive that, Tasha's also posted the link as well. So I just put it on screen. So even if you need to, all you got to do is do a copy and paste. If you've got the Android, use the Google Chrome. If you've
Mhm.
got the iPhone, then you'll use the Safari. It's pretty simple to log in. You're welcome to be a part of the conversation. With that said, we do want to establish from the beginning that this is a judgment free zone.
Yes.
So I want to set the ground rules that as we discuss these topics, there is no right or wrong. I
Right.
want to be respectful. So anybody sharing their views, I want them to be heard, to be able to speak in complete, total sentences without being interrupted, and we're not going to judge. That's their feelings. Whatever somebody's sharing with you, however personal they decide to get, that's their journey. But what
Mhm.
I also want to establish is I don't want us delving too deep into anybody's personal business unless they've
Mhm.
shared it. Now, if they put it out here in this format, then it's fair game to ask questions on it. But I do want to establish that we don't have to go into somebody's personal stuff. If they don't
Mhm.
share it, then it wasn't meant to be shared. Now, you
Yeah.
guys have been with me for a while. Some of you, I share my personal stories, so that makes me an open book. You're welcome to ask. But like, I'm not gonna ask somebody something that might be hurtful or painful. And if they
Mhm.
tell me whatever their views are, it's their views. It's that simple. So
Yep.
with that said, that's kind of how I want to start out with the topic, because it's, it has the potential to get a little serious. Now, I want to invite people to come on. We don't have to have a whole lot of people, but we're going to be talking about dating in the Me Too era, and it'd be great to hear your views, what you think. You got questions. We're going to attempt to answer those questions. That doesn't mean that we're going to get the answers right. It just means we're going to attempt to answer those questions. And I hope that everybody takes something away from them, that maybe at least if you don't get the answer, you'll understand the questions that's out there on the table a little bit better, so that you can process it and filter it through your own experiences and then make better decisions. At the end of the day, that's what it's really about. So, as always, McMack, I always like to kind of get your take for audience members or anybody viewers watching. Tasha and I, we don't discuss what we're going to talk about in detail in any way. When the topics come up, I'm looking forward to whatever she has to say. So, leading up to this, give me your overall take when you think about, Tasha, dating in this Me Too era.
It's hard on both sides, on both sides. And that's for a number of reasons. The way that the shift, and we've discussed this, the shift of the power dynamics in relationships, from women to being more in control and calling more of the shots, to the men taking a lot more, backstage roles. And that's kind of because they don't know what they can and cannot do, what is and is not acceptable. You can't approach all women the same way, unfortunately, anymore. There's no right or wrong answer. And then there's also the fact that you have a lot of people out here that are saying, that really want to diminish the whole traditional monogamous relationship. You're seeing more now with people really pushing polyamory and open relationships, and because they have because they have so many options available to them with dating online and everything. It's always the next best thing. Everyone's looking for the next best thing, instead of setting down a sturdy foundation. And if you do want a foundation, you're kind of shamed for it now. They're like, oh, it's old school, nobody's doing that. So it's very hard.
I agree. I can agree with you more. Love how you kind of set the table and set the stage. Welcome, Daracel. Welcome, Sherry, to the conversation. Thank you always
I
for
like your
being here.
braid.
I like it.
I like it as well. I like it as well. Very becoming. How you doing tonight, sis? How you doing tonight, Daracel? All right.
I'm good. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm good.
And so I've got a series of articles, and I'm going to do my best to, attack this subject, logically from as many angles as I can, to get as many opinions as I can out there. But again, I'll ask you ladies the same question. I hope I can get. I expect to get a guy, at least another guy's point of view on here. Kennard, I need you, my brother. Terry, this subject was born from you. I'd love to hear from you. But if not, I want to say I will not be representing what all men think. I'm going to represent what I think, but I will be sharing some views of what's posted out there, what men think. But Daracel, I'll throw it out there to you. Just initially, what comes to mind for you when you think about dating in the Me Too era? And I know you're married, so that's why I want to get these different points of view.
Well, it's funny because I recently was listening to a comedy show on XM Radio, and the guy said, he was telling a joke about the Me Too, and he said, well, you would think logically, if you don't rape a girl, you ain't got nothing to worry about. But he was recalling a date that he had, and he said the next morning, he was like, for him it was just a one night stand, but for her she wanted more. And he said, I'm leaving. And she's like, are you gonna call me? And he was like, no, I really had no plan to call you. She was like, well, oh, I just don't like the way you handled me last night. Oh, he's like, oh shit, let me make this bitch some eggs. Let me, and guys really now have to he said by the time I got through making breakfast, he said, I'm waiting for I had fun last night text. And he said, once I got that, I was like, whew, I could breathe a little easier. So I feel like for a man, it's scary because if you go out and meet a girl and she wants more and you don't. And then, and we know we've heard a lot of situations about females retracting rape, confessions, saying that a guy,
Right.
and rape is one of those things, it's very hard to prove, on the guy's end. I could just say somebody raped me and everybody believes me. But
Absolutely.
for a guy to prove that he did not do it, it's very hard to do that. So, I mean, it's scary for a man. I mean, for women, our dating game is always the same. But for men, I mean, I think it would be very scary now dating as a man.
I thank you so much for sharing that story and sharing your views. It has changed for me how I look at things. You all of y'all know me, my sister, two of my very best
Mhm.
friends ever on this fucking earth, excuse me, YouTube. Y'all know how I am, how I think, how I react, and it's changed me in so many ways. So I thank you for sharing that. And of course, I'm going to share my personal experiences, from the past leading up to now. So I thank you for sharing that. And it's real. It's very real. Sis, you're married as well, but you do have a daughter that's of dating age. What's your take on where we are now in this era of dating when it comes to Me Too?
Well, I mean, I agree with everything that Darcel said. Only thing as far as for women today, they just don't have no morals. It's so different than when I grew up or when I started dating, should I say. You know what I'm saying? Because as Darcel said, they women today they think they sleep with a man, oh, that's my man. You know, I mean, when we were dating during our time, we started dating, you know, people, you knew that was your
Your volume went out, Sherry.
that you knew that was your boyfriend. It was off limits to other females. It was certain type of respect. All that's gone,
Okay.
and I don't understand. And then what makes it even worse is that a lot of women these days don't have respect for themselves.
Okay.
Then
Okay.
they get mad and with the guys out here and think, oh, he just don't know my worth. You don't know your own worth.
Okay. Okay. I'm glad. And again, you bring up an important aspect of it, and we're going to even get to that. Just so you know, I want to talk about first how we got here. And then I want to talk about the man's point of view and how we see things. And Sherry, we're going to end on where you're talking about what role women plays and where we go from here. So you bring up some valuable points. I'm going to come back to that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk quickly how we get here. I'm not going to do a whole rehearsed history kind of thing, but we all know that probably the biggest incident was Harvey Weinstein. Anybody who don't know, you're welcome to Google this. We reached a point at some point here where the whole thing Me Too is because women reached a point where they decided that they weren't going to be silent anymore. And the whole thing is, it happened to Me Too, where a series of women decided that the sexualization of them, the misappropriation of them, the behaviors, and in many cases, the real life violations that they experienced, that they kept hidden, that it was no longer time to be silent. And we had some high profile cases, and Harvey Weinstein stands out, and Matt Lauer stands out. R. Kelly is the poster child for, what can happen. And
Mhm.
so here we are at a place where a lot of women started speaking up and saying, you know what? I'm raising my hand because it happened to me too. And that's where we got to this place. And so it ended up spilling over to the point where here we are. So there's a series of articles, like I said. And this one first article I'm going to talk about, it says young single Americans are tired, confused, and scared about dating during this Me Too era. And I'm going to just share snippets from this. I'm going to pluck out the gems as you were. You know what I'm saying? It's a, and so there's a statement that says that there's apathy on both sides. So starting right there, it's awkward. It is awkward for both sides because I think it's changed how, as Daracel said, it's terrifying for men knowing what to do, but that's also affected women in terms of what to expect and how they can react. Because it says, in and of itself, dating is kind of exhausting, even when there isn't a larger political movement around it. So I think having to do it in addition to being reminded of the terrible stuff that's going on makes it even harder. And I want you guys to hear this point. It says that the chilling effects of, because on the world of online dating, just for example, is $1 billion industry. It said it pays to have singletons coming back for more dates and swiping locations, apps, and so making dating far more random, tedious, and perilous. And so it's already hard to meet people, whether you're at the workplace, and because of the pandemic, that's all but been eliminated.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? For the last 9 months, we've all been self-quarantining. And so the workplace has been eliminated, even though I never knew how to transition even there. But even whether it's sports bars, clubs, or church, or whatever, it's a terrifying feeling. And there's so much apathy on both sides. And then, of course, now with social media and technology, you know, the online dating was supposed to make it easier, you know,
It hasn't.
and that's where I want to start with, you know, I don't know if you guys ever been on dating sites. Tasha, you'd probably be one appropriate to ask. Sherry and Daracel, I wouldn't expect you to have tried the dating sites. But Tasha, I want you to speak to that. Technology, and you would think because we're less inhibited now than ever before that dating should be easier, right? Because 10, 15 years ago, I remember women didn't want us to use the word fuck and dick and whatnot. Well, now there's no taboo attached to it. There's no taboo to being gay, straight, bi, lesbian, LG, whatever you want to be. Why do you think it's that all of these advantages, these advances haven't made dating easier?
It's taken the personalization out of it. It's essentially turned it into a meat market where you can go through very quickly and at your fingertips, you can just be like, what you see, you don't hear this person, you don't hear their voice, you don't get anything else from them. You're just looking at and seeing basically if you're attracted to them physically, and through a text message, through messages, determining if you like someone. How can you really like someone if you don't even talk to them, to hear them, to see if they can really even communicate at the most basic level? Anyone can tap 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 on their phone, but having an actual conversation, we've discussed this, that's a lost art. People don't know how to do it. And now you just have to where, you know, I can just go check out on like this one's ugly, this one's that, and you have superficial and shallow reasons as to why you'll skip over someone. And so it just makes it so nasty and just so, I don't even know what the best word to even describe it. It just makes it just so impersonal, just a buffet. That's all it is. It's a buffet, and you're overwhelmed.
I don't disagree, and I think that's kind of what Sherry was talking about. Daracel, you want to add anything to that? Why you think with all of our advances in dating, why hasn't it gotten easier? Why didn't it get easier?
Well, one of the reasons I think is because now women have all this sexual freedom. Not that we didn't have it before, but they're more open about it. And so when you're meeting guys online and you're talking about, well, I do this and I like to do that, when the guy meets you, that's all he's expecting. And some women are, you know, they talk a good game, but, you know, when it comes down to it, they're not ready for it. So I think it's just made it where guys aren't really looking for anything serious, especially when they meet somebody online. They're just looking for a hit and run, you know?
That is a major good point, that the expectation has changed.
Mm-hmm.
Because if
Mm-hmm.
you're meeting somebody offline, to Tasha's point, it's impersonal. So you
Right.
can't seriously think you're going on to find Mr. Right. that the knight in shining armor
Right, we're your
riding up on the right. That's my point. That's the guy that's going to ride up in the white horse and save you.
Mm.
Because as Tasha brought out, I'm only judging you based on what I see. I know nothing at all about you. So if I'm a titty man, I'm looking for big titties. You know, if I'm an ass man, I'm clicking on forget your face. Anybody who knows me, I'm not a face guy. You could have the face of Godzilla. What that ass do? I want to see what that ass look like. So for me, I'm trying to see a full picture. So that's literally what I'm going on. I'm being honest. That's literally what I'm going from. I've never been turned off by ugly or plain. For me, it's always been about the body. But to your point, you can't expect then that when we meet and do whatever we do, that I'm looking for anything more than your body. You know what I'm saying? You could have Halle Berry's face. If that ass ain't fat enough for what I'm looking for, you know, I might hit just because, but it's not going to go anywhere from there. So that's what the technology of the dating sites, and I've done all the dating sites. I've done them. And at one point I was very skilled and very successful at them. But Me Too didn't make dating easier. In a lot of ways, it made it more complicated because now when I'm inviting a stranger over who I know nothing about, that story you told, Daracel, I've got to hope that after the experience, was it good for her? Because for me, I'm done. I'm done with the experience. Like the story you told at the beginning, the guy's ready to leave, you know, from where he said, you know, let's fist bump and see you when I see you. But her whole demeanor changed when she realized that, hey, he not in it for the long haul. And now you start getting those complaints. And so even I had to adjust my thinking. I was the king of the one night stands. You know, they'd swing through, you know, my apartment was Grand Central Station at one point. But then I had to slow it down because this person now knows where I live. They can describe all the stuff in my apartment. If she's got half a brain, I try to pick them where they're not too bright, but you don't always succeed. So if she has half a brain, she knows where I stay. And like you said, Daracel, what's stopping this person from making an accusation weeks later, mind you? I'm done. You know, the memory of that pussy is done soured in my brain and done died somewhere in this drink. I ain't even thinking about that no more. But a month later, this guy and, you know, Glenn Park, and he did this and he did that. It's a horrible, terrifying feeling to know that something you did a month ago could come back and bite you in the ass. You know what I'm saying? When I eat 3-day-old chicken, I know I might get sick, but even if I got sick, I'm gonna throw that up in that first night. I don't want to be throwing up a month later because I ate, 3-day-old chicken.
I'll say this. There's, I've seen the horror stories and everything, and even on the woman side of it, there's been videos loaded to social media where there's women who meet someone on Tinder that night, and then at midnight you're going and meeting up with this person at their house, and then you get mad when you come over there, and his assumption is that y'all are there to hook up because based on whatever your private conversation was, and then you get over there and you just want to talk, and then he gets mad because he's like, that's not what we were discussing. That's not what you're here for. Now you want to act all innocent and post it online, and everyone is so quick to call the man a predator when that is the impression that you gave.
That's right.
All my interactions take place after 10 o'clock. I do not have company during regular hours, business hours. Number one, I work for a living. And even if I have an off day, I still like my off day to be where I'm doing nothing but me, laying around watching movies. Now, 10 o'clock, after I've said this a million times, for me, after I've watched the news and watched all of my favorite TV shows, You know, because primetime shows gonna come on from 8 to 10. Maybe you might have a show to come on 10, but you know, I watch whatever I want to watch at that point. I've already taken my shower, I've eaten my food, I return phone calls. You know, when I get horny, I'm gonna ring that bell now at 10, 11 o'clock. You know, the lights are dim. I want to talk about CNN when you come through these doors at 10, 11 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? You have all day if you had some psychological question to ask me. When you hit this door after that time, let's get to it. You know what I'm saying? So absolutely. So there's an unreasonable expectation. Welcome to the conversation, Jerry. So what's your take on where we are with Me Too, dating in the Me Too era? I don't know if Jerry could hear me.
I don't.
Did you hear me?
Yeah. What you were saying again?
I said, welcome to the conversation, but what's your take on where we are with dating in this Me Too era?
It's scary. Pretty much. Yeah, it's scary. Especially if you have something to lose. If you have any assets or whatever, it's very scary, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I see why you've been celibate for a year, you said, right?
I have. I never in a million years thought I would have made it this long, to be honest with you. And I had a few mishaps and a few scares where I was going to break it, but I maintained, you know. And so let me read something to you guys. It says, men are concerned about crossing boundaries, having their actions misinterpreted, or even adhering to traditional gender roles like paying for a date. Some women said they were too worn out by the inappropriate behavior or triggered by the news to want to spend time with men, and some worry about how and when to call out men when they're dating for harassment. And so that tells you the apathy and the complicated on both sides, you know, that on both sides, how complicated this thing is. You know what I'm saying? So it raises all these questions from the outset. I'm sorry.
No, even that whole notion, I don't see what's so hard for people to understand about first dates. It's a way to determine if you all are going to click. And as far as who pays for it, why does that have to be the determining factor when we know there's a lot of people out there who will use the first date as not even really a date? It's just to get a free meal at that time. You don't even really like the dude. You ain't even really interested in him. You just want a free meal for that day. And that bothers me. I don't mind paying on the first date. If we gotta go Dutch, that's fine. But at the same time, I'm realistic and I'm woman enough to say it. That's not gonna make me not want to fuck you any less. If I've already made up my mind during during the course of that dinner that I'm gonna give it to you, even if you decide like I think we should go half. Okay, I done already decided I was gonna give him some anyway. Where are we gonna go next? There's too many hangups there. Like that bothers me. There's even talks now, and I sent you a video on this of where it's even acceptable to take someone on a first date. Do you know that there's women out there that say going on a coffee date for the first date is unacceptable? Like the dude automatically gets written off. Why? Because he didn't sell Red Lobster or something?
You said Wade right, Tasha. This is why I love you and you, my host. You said Wade right into what I talked about in my teaser, and that was one of the main things Terry wanted to talk about is first dates, because what he's experiencing is sometimes there is not a second date when in his mind he thought he did a pretty good job. And you brought up all of these nice little nuggets in there. You talked about going Dutch, the expectation on the first date, you know, and even down to where the person takes you is become an issue that in this era of Me Too, I'm glad you said Wade right there. So I want to ask you women, I know two of you are married. Tasha already told you, told us, so I get where she's coming. For her, doesn't matter. If she's going to give you some, she's going to give you some. what do women think? And again, I'm not expecting y'all to represent all women, but I'm hoping you can shed some insight onto what you're hearing from females, what you're hearing from your friends, or what you're hearing out there. So this whole first date notion, let's talk about that. I'm gonna start with this part. Is there an expectation for the guy to have to pay? What's your thinking on that?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I'm not going.
No.
I
Yes.
don't.
Please,
I
one at
will
a time.
never.
One at a time. Go ahead.
I don't do
Go ahead.
that.
Go ahead. Go
I
ahead,
have.
Darcel.
Go ahead,
I
Dr.
have never, and I never in the future ever plan to go Dutch ever with a guy.
You
If you ask me out, you should be able to afford to take me out. So
right?
wherever we're going, coffee, drinks, a bar, a restaurant, no matter what it is, you should pay. You ask me out. So I
That's
mean, I I
I
will
gotta
never.
say something.
And if a guy asks me to go Dutch, he definitely ain't getting a second date, and I'm not going Dutch. He's still gonna end up paying, but he definitely ain't gonna get a second date.
I'm
That's
loving
a
this. I'm loving this.
definite no for me.
I'm loving this. Hold on, Sherry. Hold on. Hold on, Sherry. Let me say again for the new guests. I want each person to say what they're gonna say in totality. Don't
Mhm.
interrupt. And it's a judgment-free zone.
Mhm.
So this
Yeah.
is not about judging anybody. I want to hear your views, and we're gonna be respectful. So Darcel, thank you. Sherry.
And I
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
sorry. Yeah, I just want to say, like, I have an expectation of traditional gender roles. The man is the provider. The man pays for dinner. Things like that. So if we're going out, I just automatically assume you're going to pay. If you're not going to pay for dinner, then you need to tell me that before we go out, and then there won't be a date. But no, I have never paid, and I don't ever. I mean, like even now in married life, when me and my friends go out, I don't pay. So it's like, friends don't know. That's what it's. No.
Fellas, hit as well now. Hit as well. Sherry,
I
go.
agree with Darcel 100%. If you asking me to go out, you're taking me out, so you're paying. I never
Right.
Dutch. I don't plan on doing it. And if I had to go Dutch, I wouldn't be going. And like
Okay.
Darcel said, tell me ahead of time, because
So I want to be clear for both of y'all. You are completely opposed to paying for dinner for a man.
I am.
Yes.
I never have, and I'm not going to. And then on
Okay.
top of that, I
A
don't
man should
Let's
be able
hurt
to take care of
fingers.
himself and take care of anybody
I,
else that he wants to take care of.
I,
No.
I, y'all all on here. I don't suck dick. I ain't really planning on it right now. I doubt
Okay.
it.
Okay. We're gonna get to
Listen,
that part.
if you
Tasha.
paying for dinner, I'll suck some dick, but I'm not paying for dinner.
Okay. So now that could change things for a man. But Tasha.
I think, for me, I think that, depending on who's asking, again, we've established in the Me Too era, women can and are shooting their shot. So I think if a woman asks a man out, the woman has to pay. And I think that also it should be discussed up front. And I think also if you go out with a man with the expectation for him to pay, you need to give up the draws. Period. That's just my opinion. Period. You got to give it up.
No, Tasha, no,
There's
no,
blood
no,
on
no,
his
no, no.
money. There's blood on
Oh,
his money.
Now,
You
wait,
owe
fellas,
him
I'm gonna get
something.
to y'all. Trust me, I'm gonna
You
get to
owe
y'all.
him
wait a
I
something.
want
minute.
them to get all this
That's
out.
right.
Fellas, I'm gonna
You
get to
got to
y'all.
give up something. Some
Trust
ass,
me,
some
fellas, I'm
mouth,
gonna get
some
to y'all.
No,
something.
Jerry leaning back. I'm looking at Kennard's
you're
face.
giving up your
Jerry got this
time.
look. I'm
You
gonna get to y'all.
No, right
no.
then
Fellas,
in the car.
Thank,
He gonna grab
thank
you in
you,
the
Candace. I
bathroom.
need you on this one, girl.
trust me, I'm gonna get to y'all. I'm trust me, I'm gonna get to
I'm not
y'all. So
going back
hold on.
out.
So let me ask y'all something. So Darcel, you already said you believe in traditional gender roles.
Yes.
Sherry talked about being old fashioned. So I want to establish something as we go. This says, so would you ever ask a man out?
No, that's what men supposed to do. I'm not doing.
Sherry would not even ask a man out. Darcel, would you ever ask a man out?
Yes.
But you would still expect him to pay.
You got to suck some dick.
Yes.
You got to suck
Yo,
some
but
Good.
Black,
dick.
you need to clarify that. You need to clarify that. Because
No, no,
if they
no.
no, but if they're seeing someone,
I will.
It's
I
would you
will.
ask somebody
If
out? It's not a first date. You know, it's uncalled for. Really, it's really uncalled for a woman to ask a man out on the first date.
Okay, no, no. Hold your
right,
opinion. Hold your
exactly,
opinion. Hold, because
exactly.
I want to establish
If
where each
No,
of them
I'm just
stand. Go ahead,
I'm
Erica.
trying to get with
Okay.
Sherry over here.
there are a lot of men out there that are really shy. You can tell that they're interested, but they don't know how to approach. And so you just give them a segue to, hey, so what are you doing later? I'll be here whenever you want to hang,
Okay. Okay.
like that.
Okay.
It's a situation where you can already tell that they're interested. But I mean, I'm just not gonna
So you lead a horse to
go
water.
up to a guy. Right. I'm not gonna
I got you.
initiate,
I
or
got
that type of situation where I'm not sure if they're interested. But
I
yeah, if
got
I already feel that he's interested, yeah,
I
I
got you.
would.
I got you.
Yeah.
I'm holding my guys back for a reason because I want you guys to show the same level of restraint and respect when they give their views. That's all I ask. Candace, you came late to the party. Welcome, sweetheart. But we're
Thank you.
talking about the Me Too era, and we to the point where we're talking about dating and the first date. So I'm going to cut right to the chase. What's your thought on how a first date should go? Should the man ask? Should the man pay? Would you ever ask a man on the first date? And I know you're married, but I'm talking about your views or the views you've heard from female friends. What do you think?
I was raised old fashioned, so I'm only going if I'm invited and he's paying. I mean, that's it. Now, later on, if I'm in a relationship, I may ask him out and then I will pay when we're in the relationship, but the first date, no.
Okay. So I know you're coming late. I want to get I want you to get caught up to where we're at. So how do you think that plays now in this era of Me Tooism, where the guy doesn't know what to say? He doesn't know how it's going to come across. So you're telling me that you won't go unless he asks. And so what's the proper protocol?
I view it as people have common sense. You know how to respectfully talk to a woman. If you disrespect me, that's on you. But I feel like a man, we're all grown here. So you should know how to come to me respectfully.
Okay. I got to bring my guys in here now. And I want y'all to just listen. Terry, you initiated this conversation, my brother. I talked about you in the beginning. You're in that prime dating age. Now, ironically, at 52, I'm out here in the dating scene as well. You know what I'm saying? So what's your take? You've heard bits and pieces, but give me your take overall of where we are when it comes to dating in this Me Too era.
So, kind of like you said, I respect everyone's opinion, so no disrespect, but I just don't get like where women think they could have the best of both worlds, and because they jump from each world that they want to. At one point, yeah, I'm this independent woman. I can provide, I got my own, but on the other end, like, yeah, I'm still old school. You still need to pay. And so when I'm paying, anytime that I pay for something, I receive a product or a service. So if I'm paying for you to go out to eat, like, hey, where's the service at the end of the meal? If I choose that. But when you approach women like that, it's like, what do you think? I'm a hoe? You can't buy me or whatever. It's like, okay, well, shit, pay for your own meal. But if you ask them to pay for their own meal, all of a sudden they're offended, they're upset. If your girlfriend asks you out to eat, you don't expect them to pay. So why are you expecting me to pay? Why am I paying for your time? If you're interested in me, let's go out. But to say all that, I do pay. But I find it offensive when women don't even consider paying. So in my mind, in the old school, and I might be a little ignorant, old school, if I'm paying, you're not my servant, but you kind of, I wear the pants, things go as I say. So if I'm paying all the bills,
I'm sorry, ladies.
Yeah, things just gonna
Don't
go
clap
this way.
for that.
If you don't like it, you can bounce. Cause guess what? You don't bring nothing to the table anyway. You ain't got no money, or if you do, you keep it all to yourself. So I don't understand this whole thing where a man works and provide, and women work, but they get to keep all their money. What the hell are you doing with your money? So yeah, I just don't get it. What do you bring to the relationship besides sex? You can pay for that. So like, yeah, you need to come on off of those old ways and join a new way. We're all equal now. We're all equal. Then why you treat me as I'm obligated to pay. I'm obligated to open the door. it'd be nice, you know.
No,
You better
what
open
No,
my
no,
damn
no, no,
door.
Sherry. Oh, no, no, Sherry. Sherry.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
No. We're not retorting right now. We let y'all speak. We're not retorting right now. We gonna get your chance. You gonna get your Cherry. Was you finished?
Yeah, for the
I ain't
most
paying
part,
nothing.
yeah. For the most part, I'll let one of the other brothers go. But yeah, that's just how I feel. Like, you know, I know we're in a different era where we all equal. Women have power, and they rightfully deserve those powers. But yeah, if we're all equal, then like yeah, then maybe you could pay too. If not, then there's plenty of women out there who do pay. Who, you know, I think a lot of
That's
beautiful
true.
women in the past they kind of use their looks, but shoot, now some beautiful women that make six figures and they do not mind paying.
Yes,
They
sir.
have no problem. I have, you
Yes,
know,
sir.
I'm not trying to. I have plenty of attorneys and lawyers take me out to nice meals, and they
Yes,
have
sir.
no problem paying.
Yes,
So
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Jerry, Kennard, either one of you want to go?
Yeah, I don't think I don't think there's like a direct relationship between paying for a meal. We just kicking it. We just hanging out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Actually,
Mhm.
providing mean you paying for a lot of shit. Paying for a meal, you're just paying for the entertainment for the night. And yeah, of course, if you take a woman out to eat, you are paying for the meal. Now, if you're a smart guy, chances are you've already kind of channeled the vibe prior to taking her out to where you kind of sort of know whether this shit is about to pop off sexually or not, so where you won't be
Good
disappointed.
point.
And so just like say for instance, I've seen on Facebook and all this other stuff where dudes are taking these girls out on trips and they're asking questions like, well, should the woman submit to sex while on the trip? Man, you should know whether that shit happen before you go. You know what I'm saying? Like you waiting to the so you hoping from your passport all the way to the damn room cruise. That's your fault, my nigga. But at the time when it comes to like the dates and let's talk about Me Too for a second. I honestly think the Me Too movement is a bunch of noise, is a bunch of fluff, and is a bunch of excuses for otherwise, say, pedophiles to either do their thing or people who are teasing guys and holding out at the end to do theirs. And then you got the Bill Cosby thing, for example. If you hanging around some guys that are you shouldn't even be in the company of people who are spiking your drinks or who are doing anything to get you to the point to where you have to compromise your normal level of arousal or sexuality. So I think the Me Too movement is fluff. I think it's real, but I think for guys like us, like Tasha Black, D. Jerry, Top Cat, and Candace and Sherry, we're not celebrities. We don't hang out with people that spike our drinks to where we're in the damn back room. Like I'm hanging out with Black, Tasha, and D, and Candace, and Jerry and Top Cat. We back in the back room snorting powder. That's not our program.
Right.
We're normal people.
Right.
So if you're in the midst of and plus in what we got going on, we know a shaky joker when we see him. Like hell no. They come and bring you a drink, right? You like, nah, I'm good. But if you go up to the bar, you pay for my drink, and I get the drink from the bartender, then yeah, I'm good to go. But some random Bill Cosby or Steinberg or whatever the hell his name is comes up with a drink that's clouded at the top with some white shit. If you drink that, that's your fault.
it's cloudy at the top.
Bernard, you make a lot of good points, man.
So,
absolutely.
Is this? I think when we really look at this thing, it's okay if the guy pays. It's okay if the woman pays, as long as there's a mutual agreement. Like D, for example, if you know that this is not your program, then of course, as it seems like historically you have done, either you have not gone or maybe you've even walked out. Like hell no, I ain't paying. Figure it out.
Right. Absolutely. Great points. Great points.
At this point, we're at a point to where we're grown people, and anybody using it, especially like I'm like 40 something, 41. I forget but either way, we're at the point now to where we're still using these movements and these other entities to justify bad behavior, then that's on us. You know what I'm saying? And whether it's a man or a woman. And I'm gonna tell you, at this point, Me Too ain't got nothing to do with whether a woman wants to get that thing up or whether two grown people can be aroused by one another and they go ahead and do their thing as grown people. Anybody hollering about some Me Too, that's some irresponsible bullshit. And I signed on that.
Okay. Love
No,
it.
that's right. No, that's right.
All right. He said a mouthful.
Yes, he did.
Jerry, get in here, man. Get in here, Jerry. This your time, my brother.
All right. Now I'm with D. If she's sucking, I'm paying. But anyway. Shit.
I'm not mad with you on the front here.
She's sucking, I'm paying. Fuck that. But anyway, the Me Too movement is real fucked up because, say for instance, if you get a stalker, they could play you with this shit. You know what I'm saying? Normally, before they could stalk you, scratch your car, and all this shit, man, these motherfuckers can take you to court, and you be fighting for your life. This shit is real. You know what I'm saying?
It is real.
This shit is real.
It is real.
For our age, this shit is real. We got something to lose.
Okay. So talk to us about your views on the first date thing.
Oh, the first date thing. Now, I had a lot of females, honestly, that I go out with, and at least they suggest to pay. You know what I'm saying? And that's more motivation for me. Nah, don't worry about it. I got this. You know what I'm saying? And I know how it is. You know what I'm saying? But at least they could come out and say, you know, that's how I know where I'm going to choose from.
Okay.
And if a motherfucker gonna sit back and eat, I'm gonna let you eat until you bust. You know what I'm saying? Hey, it ain't no money. It ain't nothing but little money.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I treat you to a good time. I take you home, and that's it.
Okay.
But
so
if I see,
no, go ahead, please.
If I
I'm sorry.
If I see somebody like motivating towards like where you could see in the person's face, like, oh man, because it's certain days I went on, and I've been like, oh, what the fuck you want? Don't be hesitant. You know what I'm saying? Order what you want. And I've been on a couple of days where they ordered what they wanted and they didn't want it. I said, well, order something else. No. I said, man, just order something else. Don't worry about that shit. You know what I'm saying? And I got treated better.
Okay.
It's all about how you handle with that date shit. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But if I invite you out, I don't have a problem paying. I'm with it.
I got you. Okay, Sherry, you've been chomping at the bit and listening to all of this, and she's got her little fat fingers curled to really unleash. Go.
No, because that's crazy what they saying. I'm not paying dime. Jerry, you know my nigga, in New York, we don't even play them games. And we gonna tell you up front, you gonna know if you gonna get the pussy from the gate. You already know we very outspoken, we don't got no time for that. Don't be trying to hide, nigga. Get in the camera. Like, I'm gonna pay them no mind. So Terry, he got off because he told my old no. You pay, you'll know because I'm gonna tell you. But shit, we gonna slide after this or whatever. If you don't hear none of that, pay, thank you very much, and that's it. Why can't y'all just take that? What's the problem?
Hold on, sis. So are you telling me that New York women are different than women in other regions and that they're more upfront, direct, and you know what you're going to get?
No, I'm not saying that. Because we got a whole lot of airheads out here too. And to be honest with you, no, that's not true. No.
Okay. But at the end of the day, you're adamant that you're not paying, the guy's going to pay. At that point, the expectation is that you ain't, and in your case, you went a step further, you still ain't sucking no dick.
No.
Even if he pay, he might not get nothing.
No, because my friend Jenny, she joked with me all the time about a guy asking me, so he took me out, and they're gonna come to my, oh, I can't get no little Valentine head. No, I'm like, I don't even know you.
Okay. Okay. Sherry's adamant.
And that was a turn off for me anyway.
All right.
So I should.
Tasha, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I
What?
ordered everything I didn't even want, and told him, "See you later." And now you gotta pay for that. That's how I get them.
Okay. Darcel and Tasha, you've heard what the men had to say. Candace, get back in here if you got anything you want to add to it.
I do. I have a lot to say.
Okay.
Go ahead, G.
Okay. I knew you would. I knew you would.
Listen, to comment to Terry's response, I think he's got it all wrong. Yes, there's women that like to pay because there's a lot of women that, they don't want the, I don't know, the hang-ups that come with dating. So like he said, he dates 6-figure women. No, not you.
Oh, Terry. Okay.
Yeah. But the whole expectation of if I pay for dinner, then I must get something. No, where are we doing that at? We're just getting to know each other. So, you asked me out. So, this is a courting phase. So part of that is you trying to impress me. If I'm trying to impress you, then yeah. I mean, if I were that woman, but I'm not, maybe I would pay. But, no, I mean, I think, and guys, I sent you this thing a while ago, and I truly believe this. Guys that can do it love to provide. They love to do it. They love to take care of their women. They love to show them off. They love to buy them nice things. Guys that can. The guys that can't have a problem with it because they can't. And they play it off as another issue. But it's really, I can't afford to do this, so let me spend it another way. But I've never had a problem, ever, like getting anything paid for from a guy. So I think the guys that can afford to, they love to do it because for them, it's a boost in their ego that they can do this. So Terry's perspective, I think, is a little skewed. And I mean, he may find a certain type of woman. It ain't me. Me and him ain't gonna ever date. But
Okay. So D, let me ask you something. So D, let me ask you something now. Because the same way I asked Sherry on, does she think New York women were a certain way? Let me ask you a question. Do you recognize, do you recognize there is a difference between a woman having your views that's attractive and one that's not? Would you agree with that?
I don't know because I mean, honestly, my perspective may be a little different because that's all I've ever known.
So no, we're not talking about the fact all you ever know. All I'm asking is, I'll rephrase it a different way. Do you think a woman that's not attractive could have that point of view?
No, I don't.
That's where I want to go with it. In all seriousness, let's be honest.
Right.
To the swift belong the race. You know what I'm saying? Money, power, attractiveness, it puts you in a different playing field to be able. You know what Terry, from many shows ago, he talked about expectations and being able to bargain for what you negotiate for what you can. Forget being fair. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, I like what you said a minute ago. You said that's all you've ever known. From the time that God spit you on this earth, you've been attractive. I never seen any of your baby's pictures. I'm sure you was a pretty baby. Candace and Kennard, you guys have a beautiful daughter.
Yes.
That little girl needs to be on fucking commercials.
Yes.
I kid you not.
Thank you.
Kid you not. I'm bringing this up for a reason. She's clearly going to be an attractive person.
Yeah.
So when you're born with being attractive, you can get away with certain things. Darcel, you're an attractive woman. So come on now, sweetheart. You saying to somebody, I expect you to pay, it's different from somebody who's not. Candace, you are attractive. Tasha, you're stop it. Ladies.
I don't know.
I'll say this, Jared. I'll say this.
Let me finish my point. I want y'all to acknowledge that you can make those sweeping statements when you are an attractive woman, but if you're just plain, and I'm trying to be offensive here, but you can't say that. Am I wrong?
I don't think you're necessarily wrong, but I think it's more a confidence thing. If it's a confident woman, she's gonna
I
get
agree
her
with you in a
food
way.
paid
I
for,
agree with you in a way.
regardless of what
Yeah.
I agree with you in a
Yeah.
way. Confidence is very sexy to a certain extent, but it only goes up to a certain point. You know what I'm saying?
I
I'm
don't
not saying
know.
it
I
doesn't
done seen it
happen, but
all.
there are always exceptions to the rule. But I'm just saying, a bitch that's cross-eyed, you know what I'm saying, got a big bump in the middle of her head and missing teeth, she can be as confident as all she get out. There's only so much she can do.
I think it's the perception, because as women we might feel like a woman that y'all are with is ugly, but y'all think she's the finest woman in the world.
We're not talking about perception, ladies. Ladies, we're not talking about perception. We're talking about reality. Kennard, help me out here. We're not talking about perception. We're talking about in reality that as men, I'm willing to go a little bit further with somebody that I find and I know is physically attractive versus somebody I feel that I'm not saying she don't have to be even ugly, but just that, come on, baby. Look, as a guy, let me say this. When I go into Red Lobster, if you're super attractive, I expect you to order lobster. You know, if you're so, you better be looking on the cheap side of the menu, you know, because let's be real about it. Let's be honest about it.
Oh, hold on.
First
Let
of
me
all, if you're not real attractive, you're not going to even be in Red Lobster. Y'all know me. You getting Church's chicken. Let's keep it real.
see your
That
niece.
was gonna be my question.
See your
Yeah,
niece
that's
said.
not right. That's not right, Black.
Your niece
Because
said Red Lobster is not a date.
you done had some ugly ones that turned you around.
I like ugly. I had five older brothers that taught
and
me
they
they reared me on ugly. I was
and
brought up
they
on
so
ugly.
all right, and they
Freddie,
so
he go
appreciative.
your niece.
You
She
know,
got her
them pretty women, they appreciative. Like the ugly ones are. You
Okay,
understand?
okay. No, I agree, but I'm not trying to be funny here. I was literally reared on the principle that it's not the beauty, it's the booty. That you practice on ugly women so that you know how to treat a good-looking woman. So I knew I could make all the mistakes that I wanted to on a woman that
Sound like
wasn't
Paul.
top-notch, so that by the time I came across that beautiful woman, I knew what to do, what not to do, things of that nature, you know. But and I think for me that even affected how I looked at things. I've never been afraid to be with a woman that's not attractive. Okay, let's flip the script. Here we in 2020. I'm ugly. I'm no longer attractive. You know, I'm a fat older guy, missing teeth. Shit, you know. My thing is, I gotta play a different game now to get them draws off if I want it. You know, there was a time when I didn't have to play them games, so I recognize that there's a different level of expectation. I'm not in and spit everybody. So if I'm gonna screw now, she got to have the lights off because if I take my musty drawers off in the daylight, she might say no. You know, so I
I wanted to say this. I just want to say this. I'll say this. The last guy I dated, our first date that we agreed to go out. You know me, I'll drink I'll drink and I'll keep ordering drinks because that's me.
Right.
I ran up a tab just in liquor alone without the food. I ran up a tab and it took him off guard by how much it cost. I didn't mind paying for it because that was me. I understand. You came out not thinking it was going to be that much that it was. I don't expect you to drop 300 on the first date. My bad. I'll go ahead and take up for that. But also, if he had come to me and kind of with that expectation of, well, you know, like let's say he paid and he decided that, well, you know, what's up? What we gonna do? Well, I guess I do gotta pay for it. I ain't gonna wash no dishes, so I'm gonna give it to you the best way I can.
So this
I'm
is
gonna
where I agree with
compensate
what
you for your
Kennard
time.
said. So this is where I agree with the wisdom of Kennard. Somebody's got a bad feed coming in.
Yeah.
So this is where I agree with the wisdom of Kennard. Shame on you as a man if you're on that date and you don't reasonably know what the expectation is. Now, to you ladies' point, I'm not saying a first date means you got to screw, because it is theoretically supposed to be a getting to know you kind of period. Can y'all hear me clear?
I can. It's still a lot of feedback.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad feedback.
Yeah.
So the first date theoretically is supposed to be getting to know you. In theory, I approach it with that point of view. But to Kennard's point, shame on you as a man if you don't have some clue as to, especially if your expectation is to hit. Now, my expectation has changed over the course of the years. When I was younger, oh, I know I'm going to hit. You know, I ain't even got to think about it. You gon' screw. Now, I'm old and worn out. I might not be able to, the screw, I might not even be able to handle it. So at this stage of my life, I'm probably running from you. You know what I'm saying? You pulling musty drawers off for me, I'm making excuses. So it comes down to see, y'all making me laugh. But I'm trying to be so serious. Y'all stop it. I'm trying to be so serious here. Jay, look, because okay, I'm getting off target. Jay, welcome to the conversation. Save me, man. Come on now.
First of all, what's happening?
What's up?
Tasha Mack,
What's going on?
Maricel. I had a chance to meet Candace and Jerry. Well, I see my girls on here. What's happening? Cherry, my auntie, what's happening?
What's up, nephew?
How are you? So I got a little bit of the conversation.
Go ahead.
And I kind of heard different perspectives. And Darren said, you just a unicorn, sweetheart. You just a unicorn. I mean, because honestly, nowadays with guys, it's not a a lot of the older guys, it's not an issue of whether we can pay or not. It's more or less if you're appreciative and just be honest about, what's gonna happen after the fact. But then it gets to a point where if we're paying every time, and you don't even try to say, hey, I'll get it this time, or I'll do X, Y, and Z, then that it changes. It just changes. But you're a unicorn, you do what you do. But we come from old school. You think yours is all that, I think mine is all that. So we kind of have an impact.
Great point.
Great point. But I respect it. You my girl, I love you, because whenever we go out, hey, ain't none of us paying.
That's what I was trying to get her to acknowledge.
Yeah.
That was the point I was trying to get her to acknowledge, that Daracel, for you, it's a little unrealistic, baby. I just hung out with you a few months ago. We didn't pay. So that's not.
I can vouch.
That's not normal, right?
I've never seen nothing like it.
No, I don't know. No, because even when I go with Steve, there's always somebody else that pays. Like,
but
yeah,
Steve, that's not normal. That's not normal.
Wait a minute. She said she never
pays. That's
what she said.
She's not lying.
Jerry, she don't pay.
She's not lying. She's not lying. I just hung out with this woman a few months ago, and we're in a top-notch.
I drink a lot.
Hotel, ordering it, and somebody else was paying. It is what it is. Let me let my niece in here. Cherish, I can't see you, baby. Come on in here. Come on here, my beautiful niece. Go ahead.
What's up, Cherish?
Say that again?
I want to hear your take, because Cherish is a little bit in Daracel's category. So what she's about to say is not going to be reasonable, because she is over on. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I actually, Darcel, I don't pay.
Big surprise, right?
Thank you. Right? I love it.
I don't never have to reach in my purse.
Mm-hmm.
But y'all do realize that's not real. That's not the norm.
Yeah, times are changing.
But that's the norm for us.
Right.
I agree with that. I agree with that. And that's why I said, ladies, I'm talking, so you're right. But I'm saying, that your friends don't experience that. Darcel, do you want me to call your friends out by name?
Well, that's their
but when they're with me, they do. No, I don't. But when they're with me, they do. You're my friend. Every time you go out with me.
When I talk about when they with you, Cherish and Daracel and Candace, when I talk about when they with you, I'm talking about what your friends are experiencing on a regular basis because they can't get away with what y'all get away with. Is it reasonable, based on what we're talking about, that they would expect the guy to pay every time, like Jay says? It's guy may do it here and there because y'all are right. It's a first date, get to know you. But if you keep getting nothing out of it, come on, ladies.
What about the guys? What about the guys though? Because I can go to a restaurant by myself, and a guy will pay for my meal if I'm just sitting there. Like they do that all the time.
Jay, are they not proving my point? Jay, are they not proving my point?
Yeah, exactly. I guess my question. Well, I got. Can I ask a question, Freddie? I know you're the moderator.
Please, no, please.
So let me ask a question. So, as ladies, do you feel as if you pass that, if your friend looks at the situation and says, "Well, she's not paying, so I'm not going to," and like you said a few minutes ago, it don't work for everybody. Do you think you may be doing them a disservice by saying, "Hey, you shouldn't have to pay"?
They couldn't hear you.
Oh, okay. Is something going on? Can you hear me now?
I
There's
think
some
Kennard
feedback
has
on
feedback.
someone. Yeah, I think it's Kennard.
Yeah.
Is it my phone or somebody else?
I think it's Kennard.
Okay. How about now?
We can hear you, but when you start talking, it's like some feedback in there. But I don't think it's your mic, Jay. Kennard, when you just came back in, it started kind of doing some static thing.
Okay, how about now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I hear it. I don't know whose phone it is.
It's okay. We can hear you now.
There it is. So let me put it this way. So we all know that we're all different people. So as close as me and my uncle are, we are different people. And Freddie can say things and do things that I just can't do. It doesn't match my personality and vice versa. So my question is, Cherish, Daracel, when you do that, or when you pass on to your friends, well, girl, I don't pay, and I don't know if you do this or not. If you say to them, well, you shouldn't pay either, are you doing them a disservice? Because everybody can't get away with what you guys get away with.
Good question.
I promise you that.
Good question.
It's just not going to happen.
I'll say, when I was in Atlanta with Freddie, I told my girl, I was like, no, we don't pay when we go out. And she was like, oh, why not? I was like, because he'll pay. I was like, just don't.
So now when she goes out by herself, she tries it again.
No, I was not talking about you. Of course, I was like, the guy that we were with that was very kind to us. He took care of us the weekend.
That's true, but what he's asking you is, do you think he was doing her a favor by getting her to think that that's going to be normal for her? Because I'm going to ask it a different way. If you wasn't there and it was just she and I
was showing her a new life, a new way of doing things. And so hopefully she pays that forward and use her sexiness and her appeal. Because I mean, the thing about it, like when you're cute, that's the first thing guys notice or whatever.
Right.
But you have to have a personality. You have to have conversation too to keep it going. Because ain't nobody gonna pay for your drinks all night if you don't have conversation. It don't matter how cute you look, and they ain't gonna come out with you the next night and pay for your drinks and your friends' food and all that. So there's got to be a little bit more there. So she can have that same power that the rest of us had. Yeah, she certainly can.
And let me clear something up. I don't mean to say that she was unattractive and I wouldn't pay, because you're right. If I got that vibe, you know what I'm saying, and she had that personality or whatever. I'm not saying she wasn't. I'm not saying anything negative. Whoever, let me rephrase that. If that person has that vibe, you're right. If you're teaching her how to bring that vibe and energy, then you're right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Because that should be taught. Go ahead,
but my friend already know, so I don't have to tell my friend.
That you say, I'm sorry, say again, baby.
I don't have to tell my friends. This is what we do. Not all of us, but the group.
Exactly. Yes.
Stop hanging out with. They already know the vibe.
Okay, I was going to ask that. So what you guys are talking about, I appreciate. Some of you have that skill. What's
Hey,
up,
girl.
Kiara? What's up, sweetheart? Some of you have that.
I ain't paying for nothing.
I hear you, my brother. I hear you. Some of you have that skill to where you can do that. And you're right. So I agree with you. I agree with you on that. So some of you, if you have that skill, and that is something that should be taught. But getting back to the Me Too era part of it, even if you're pretty, you're plain, you're whatever, the bigger point that I want to keep at the center of this conversation is the fact that how it plays out in the Me Too era. Because what's happening, ladies, and we don't have no guys on here anymore, is the fact that guys just don't know what to do anymore. You know what I'm saying? Because even if we do pay, and in the back of our mind, we're thinking, I think I ought to get something out of it. It's a terrifying feeling to go through the rest of that date to be on shaky ground, and we didn't used to be that way. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. So I want to ask y'all as women, whether he pays or not, give me some advice as a woman. How can you assure that man, whether he pays or not, that it's okay to take the next step? Because Daracel, you talked about it might not even be a first date. Tasha, you said that you already have it made up in your mind whether or not you're going to knock him down. Cherish, I'm sure you have your views. And Candace, I know you're married, but I know you have your views. What's the advice in this era of Me Tooism to let the guy know that whether he pays or not, it's okay to take the next step? Because we're terrified.
Well,
anybody.
Don't be a perv. I mean, guys can be so nasty sometimes, and you should not expect sex on the first date. I've never had sex on the first date. I don't expect to ever have sex on the first date. I mean, I don't know you, and whether you pay for dinner or not does not mean that we gonna fuck. I'm sorry. So,
I
was gonna say,
I wish this was spades, because I call your bluff. I swear I wish this was spades. Because I swear
you call my bluff, and you'll be 10, 20 years in still calling the bluff. No.
I just feel like if you're on the date,
that, Jerry.
if you're on the date with this woman, like I've never done that either. But say if I was going to do that, of course I would be all over this man on the date. I'd be like, let me sit next to you. I'm feeling your leg or something. I don't know. I would be initiating, but I don't know. A man, I guess for a man, I would say just ask or just try to make a move, I guess. But I know you guys are scared, but sometimes you can read people's energy. So I don't know.
I'll say this.
Go ahead, Tasha.
I'm sorry, Black. No, I don't want to interrupt you. I'll just say this. I think that we as women, we really have to do a better job of opening that door, of letting them know that it's okay, that we're interested. Because I think sometimes that we really, not us in particular, but a lot of women specifically really do see it as just a free meal or just somebody just to occupy our time that we're not serious with. We have to do a better job of really doing that screening, of letting them know that, okay, this is someone that I'm seriously interested in, that I really want to see where this goes. And if not, like Cherish said, like Dia said, let them know up front if it's not that. Let them know. Don't leave them on at the end of dinner. Whatever it is, like, look, after our conversation, after everything, I just don't think it's gonna work out between us. We're on two different paths, we're two different people, whatever it is. But we have to be more honest and upfront, especially in this era of Me Too, because like I said from the beginning, we're not all the same. We're all individual women. You can't treat us all the same. We all want to be treated differently. And so, with the men, they have to know from us how to treat us and what we're demanding.
Okay. I like that. Let me change the subject real quick, guys, because I promise you, there are no real definitive answers to any of this, and we could go down this road so long talking about dating etiquette, things like that. But I want to get to one other main point while we got time that was brought up to me about dating in the Me Too era. Where do you guys stand on women blaming men for all of their problems? And let me let me tell you where this is coming from. You've got that successful woman in many cases who achieved whatever that level of success is. She's got her education, she's got the job she's want, she drives the car, she's got the place and whatnot, but then she's neglected her personal romantic life or whatever. And then all of a sudden, you know, to be able to look, and you hear so many women now that saying, well, there's not no real men out there anymore. And then men ain't shit, and they don't do this and they don't do that. You know, I'm looking at your face, Daracel. Where do you guys stand on that? I'm
My first is, where they do that at? Grown women ain't doing that. We handle our own, and we accept responsibility for the things in our life that we've fucked up, relationships and otherwise. So yeah, we don't do that no more. Grown women, little girls do that. And you can have the car, the house, the money, the job, and still be immature. But yeah, I mean, as a woman, you take responsibility for the things in your life that you fucked up. I mean, you know, we've all had relationship problems, but I've never blamed the man for anything. It's like, no, we don't do that.
Question. So when you say we're gonna apply that to the little small group,
Generalize.
right? Do you think women don't do that out here?
No, I know women that do. And I've seen Facebook posts, and I have Facebook associates who do that. But I mean, the women on this line don't do that.
No, we don't.
That's what I mean.
And,
Yeah, no.
and
No.
most,
I mean, it's just it's for me, it's an immaturity thing when you're always blaming somebody else for your problems. And even my children, you have to train them not to do that as children, and they won't do it as adults. But when you're always putting the blame on somebody else, that's an issue with you. You know, you're so immature or too immature to recognize that a lot of the issues in your life are caused by you. I hear people do it all the time. Like, oh, well, that man broke my heart, so I can't love and I can't get a man, and there's no good man. And you know, or the man holding us back and I can't find a job. I mean, to me, that's an immaturity thing. So
the same way a lot of men are masquerading as, you know, like little boys are masquerading as men, is the same way little girls are masquerading as women. It's the exact same thing. Then they don't want to take that personal accountability, like Dee said, to say that this is where I fall short for me personally, and where I didn't do the work on myself to make myself better and be ready to receive that next relationship.
Okay.
yeah.
Let me bring in a fresh voice. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sherry.
No, I agree with what Tasha and Darcel said. But also, if half the men wasn't gay and they need to get some beats across their back and neck to get to be a man, they wouldn't be happy.
It's plenty of straight men. I mean, you might have to weed through Atlanta, but
hey now. Hey.
Hey, Frank. You're a rare specimen out there, ain't you?
Stay out there.
I would like to think so, but you know.
Shit, they might. You
You've been listening to this, sweetheart. What's your take on it? What do you have to say?
He's talking to you.
Tierra?
She didn't hear you. Say it again for you.
I said, Tierra,
I'm
give us your take on what do you feel about this whole Me Too, dating in the Me Too era, and in this particular case about how so many women blame men, you know, for where they are at this point and why they're in a dating situation they're in.
I mean, this whole era is just completely confusing, period, altogether. It's hard to find real men, period, and it's hard to find real women. You kind of, in a shuffle, it's a game almost. So you really can't blame anybody but yourself. And anytime you go and you meet people and they're blaming other people off back, those are red flags. I don't know anybody that will want to continue and try to fix a person that's already broken. You have to fix yourself before you can go out there and you can date anybody or you can continue to move forward. So if you meet a person, they're already blaming other people, as everybody else has said, they're little kids. They're still learning. They're still growing. They have a lot to do, a lot of work in their self that they have to do. So they can't really love anybody else. They can't move forward. They can't do anything to progress in anybody else's life or their self or their own life because they are still broken. So it's not in the real world with the real adults, it's not anybody that can go into somebody and say, oh, I can't love you because this person hurt me. No, you can't love yourself because you didn't like the way you were treated with that person, but you still have issues within yourself that you're not accepting. And so a lot of times that's where that comes from. And as everybody else has said, until you are accepting your fuck ups or things that you have done to break yourself and let that person break you, you can move forward. It's not about the other people you've dated. It's not about your past. It's all about you and going forward. Everybody learns from their past. Everybody grows from their past. You don't let people break you. You grow from it. So I disagree.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you, niece, for saying that. And I think, Tiara, that's a big part of what's got us to where we are now. I don't know if you guys were on earlier where Kennard talked about he thought the Me Too movement was a lot of fluff and he gave us reasons why. I think this whole thing was born out of people wanting to be victims. I think we crossed over into a time where it's easier to say that I'm a victim of something than to say I'm going to accept responsibility and be accountable and I'm going to fix it. And so I've had conversations with men, you know, and my female friends all the time. It was funny how fast this whole thing exploded, where people were willing to jump out there and say, I was molested, I was raped, I was mistreated, I was this and that. But this is a 15-year memory and a 30-year memory, you know, instead of accepting what parts you played in it. Sometimes we weren't who we weren't everything we were supposed to be at that time. And I'm not saying that rape doesn't happen, molestation doesn't happen, but I'm saying that a lot of people, they're comfortable being victims. And so they're not in the business of saying, you know what, I'm going to fix myself and I'm going to get myself right so I can be a better person. And it's just easier for people, I think, sometimes to say, count me in the group, and then I don't have to do anything else because now everything else that's going wrong in my life is because of this or that or something that happened to me. So I love the point.
No.
I don't agree with that.
I don't.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. The Me Too movement was started by Tarana Burke, and it was started a few years before it actually got popular. White women came, excuse me,
and they
for those. I'm not trying to go on white women.
Say it.
But
white women came and they hijacked the movement, and that's how it got turned into this big victimization thing.
But for actual victims of molestation, sometimes it's very hard to talk about it, and that's it's therapeutic to hear other people's experiences and then be okay to share yours. And it's freeing for some people. A lot of times they just want to say it. They don't have to have anything else happen after that, but to actually say it and hear it, it's therapeutic for them. So that's why they say Me Too. And I just hate, like Dee said, when the white women came and hijacked it and they were all victims and you can't touch my shoulder because you assaulted me and all this other stuff. But yeah.
Let me respond to that.
I will say this too, when, you know, like the whole thing was started by a Black woman. And when Black women say this has been done to us, nobody listens. And we know there is probably like every girl on this, or woman, I'm sorry, on this video has been inappropriately touched by an uncle, a relative or something, or had an inappropriate comment or something, a coworker or something, you know. So we have Me Too moments too, but it wasn't until the white women came and said, oh, Me Too, then it was this big movement that everybody wanted to listen to. But Black women, I mean, we have, I mean, if you just look at statistics now, there are a lot of Black women in this country that are missing, are unaccounted for, and nobody cares. But when white women said, oh, Me Too, then it was an issue. So that's kind of the problem I had with it. Yeah, I mean, what Tiara said was a great point, but I think, they really did. They hijacked the movement that was supposed to be for a good cause, and it started out as a good cause, but it totally went left. And all these 25, 30-year-old, he took.
Oh, she was talking too real. You see what the NSA does?
Okay.
That's it right there.
That's where we're at now. That's where we're at now.
So let me say this on that. So I'm not talking about who gets credit for who created it. I personally could care less, whether it's white, black, Asian, or whatever. What I'm talking about, though, is I acknowledge that there is real abuse that has happened. And I agree with you 1,000%, especially in the African American community. There's secrets we keep that we don't never tell. We're noted for having the uncle that touches you. The father that, that sits on, that's the person, little girl on his lap, and the brothers that behind the scenes that molest people. Even people who don't know my story. Technically, when I was 7 years old, I was molested. It was by a female cousin. Now I enjoyed every part of it. I choose not to look at it as molestation. I choose to look at it. It was pretty fun. I enjoyed it. I learned quite a bit. You know what I'm saying from it? And so, for me, I took it and ran with it. It happens in black families, historically amongst African Americans, we don't go to counseling. We haven't believed in psychiatrists. And so we've covered a lot of things over their secrets. I'm not talking about people who's happened to for real. My issue with the hypocrisy of is when it took off, whoever got credit for it, so many hands went up that it happened to me too, and it really didn't. There's a difference between an uncle touching you and being molested by a brother. And if you was just a hoe and you love fucking dick and put your legs in the air, and now all of a sudden everything that happened to you 15, 20 years ago was somebody else's fault, and now the reason why I don't have a good job, I never got a good education, is because I was touched and this and that. You know what? We live in a world now in 2020, going on 2021. Up is down, white is black. We don't call a lie anymore. We don't call hoes anymore.
Sure
don't. You know what I'm saying? Now it's called something different. So for me, the Me Too campaign has allowed people to hide behind that as victims and escape the part that they played in it. That's who I'm talking about. So I'm not talking about real people that were affected by it. And that's, I think, the biggest tragedy is that it has watered down the true tragedy of people who really were molested, really were raped, because we have some prime examples. And I'm not saying these people were right or wrong, but if you held on to somebody put something in your drink for 30 years and you just now getting the curve. Look, I'm not a psychiatrist. I don't play one on Facebook. I'm just saying I fundamentally have a problem with that you held this in for 30 years and only now that you decide that this was done wrong to you. And I've always said this, if you're going to say that and be consistent across the board, give the fame back, give the money back. Because you can't have it both ways, is my thing. And we know that real abuse happens, but don't blame everything on Me Too, is my thing. That's my take for what it's worth.
We live, excuse me, we live in a society where everybody wants their 15 minutes of fame. And so if it's Me Too, if it's Black Lives Matter, if it's whatever, everybody wants that little piece. So they hop on the train. And that's what I feel like it is. And I'm sorry, if somebody put something in your drink 15 years ago or 30 years ago, keep it to yourself. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm a woman, but I mean, if I brought every guy to court that slapped me on the ass when I was in the club, we'd be in court for 100 years. So, it's like, keep it.
I want to pay homage to women who are victims of Me Too. I'm going to read a couple.
There are, yes.
And that's why I would be remiss if I didn't cover that part of it, because I do not want this show to end with anybody saying that we don't respect the Me Too campaign. We think it. For me, I'm speaking for myself. I don't think it's fluff. I don't think it's phony. I just have problems with the hypocrisy of it and the victimization that people use it to cover their own transgressions. But I want to read a couple of things where.
Wait 1 second. One second, not to interrupt you. Candace.
Oh, no. I want to read a couple of things where I want to acknowledge where this is real for people, and so to where it does affect me.
No,
So I'm
not
gonna
you, Candace.
I'm only gonna read some highlights. Now, this is for women that really have gone through some shit. It says her body has been inspected, dissected, critiqued, and insulted more times than she could ever count. She's too fat. She's too small, too hairy. She's been asked to lose weight, wax everything, get breast implants, wear makeup, or style her hair differently. She's been told she'd be more lovable, more desirable if she could just meet these particular standards that were shared as if they were held standards among all men. There really are standards out there that women have been subjected to that really have made some a victim. And as men, we're a big part of that. I'm going to use myself. Forget anybody. I've only got 2 other men on here. I'm going to say to myself, have I victimized women? Damn right I have. You damn right I have. You know, I'm keeping it funky and I'm keeping it real. You know, for the majority of my life, you've been reduced to ass and titties. I'm keeping it real with you. I had to change my outlook, to be honest with you. Y'all laughing, but I'm keeping it honest with you because I didn't think about it from that perspective. And the good part about this is it has made me say, well, wow, you know what I'm saying? There are some women that I need to look at a little differently. I'm trying my best, guys, to change some of my vernaculars, how I refer to women. Now, again, there's some hoes that I'm going to call a hoe, but not everybody deserves to be classed in that category because I do think women are subjected to a level of abuse that we as men, we can never, ever truly appreciate. I've said this 20 years ago. If you're a woman, there are very few men in your life that haven't wanted to screw you. He might hide it. He might pretend, but he wants to screw you. And in most cases, when they're giving you compliments, a comedian said it one time before. And so you guys, on your worst day, you got rollers in your hair, batter in your eyes, your mouth has got slobber, there's still somebody subjected you to, you know, I'm telling the truth, that subjected you to some stuff that you don't want to hear. So I didn't want to get with it being just sorry for the feed in, you guys, without acknowledging that it is real. There is real abuse and objectification happening out there. So I want to acknowledge that. So Terry asked me this last week. He says, well, is when we bring topics on here, is it to open up the dialogue to find answers? That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. And so I've used this time for me personally to examine what part I played. Now, I hope when I emerge in 2021 and I feel like I've got my shit together in a way that I can get back out there, that I'm going to be a different version of Black, a different version of what I'm looking for. I'm still scared. I'm still cautious. But I want to think that, you know, they say, when you fish in the same pond, you expect the same fish. I hope to be fishing in a different pond so that I don't have to call them nasty filthies what I have to call them, so that if I can meet them on a different playing field. So I'm navigating through these complicated waters like everybody else. So I wanted to say that. Jerry.
Yeah. We're going to put you on a 2-minute break, man.
Go ahead, my brother.
We're going to put you down to 2 minutes.
Go ahead, man. Now, the beauty of it is I'm the host, so I can talk.
Made me forget because I had some shit for D. She be talking crap.
You ain't got nothing for me.
You know, at our age, we forget. You know, we got to get it off. At our age, we got to get it off and go.
I'm saying I be trying to get a different point of view.
But you talking about everything you get is free. I mean, you never pay for nothing.
Okay.
Remember you were saying that, D?
Yeah.
D.
She's listening.
You don't hear me? You remember you said everything you pay for free, right?
Yeah.
Because it's the aura you have. You know what I'm saying? You put a person into assuming something that's going to happen, but it ain't going to happen.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't. No, that's not
Listen,
true.
there's always somebody that can outplay you.
No, Freddie can vouch for this. They know there is no sex. There is no thing. Like 90%, probably like 99% of the time, I don't even give them my phone number. There is no exit when the guy.
You got to get a drink first. Now,
Jerry,
I came back.
I don't know you, my brother.
Go ahead.
I've been knowing my sister for 20 years, or for longer. What you're saying is not true.
It's not true.
It's not true.
But she said, all right.
This is who she is. This is who she is.
1 second. She said it could be. She'll be in court for years for the people who touched her ass. Remember in the club. Remember she said that.
Right.
Did you get any drinks for any of them?
No, those guys I do not even talk to in the club. Never, ever. That's straight disrespect. That's disrespect. I set the boundaries when I first get there. No. If a guy touches me, normally I'll grab his balls and dick as hard as I can and twist it and walk away. I'm sad. You grab me, how you like me grabbing you? And that's the end of that.
That make more motherfuckers gravitate towards you.
No, but I'm not taking no drink from that guy if he didn't slap me on the ass. No.
Okay,
but then you get him to say, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry."
It's not just Daracel. I've been out with Tasha and Shorty and Jennifer and all of them. They know I'm like a den mother. Y'all vouch for me. I
wouldn't call you that, but
well, you know what I'm saying. But I'm saying, Jay, speak to this. Back in the day, I don't step on your toes. You're free to do whatever you want. Me and Jay have been big brothers in the sense that
but you're not going to disrespect
we're watching you, and we almost been in fights that we've seen that we knew. Whoa! Wait a minute, man! Don't travel like that. Tasha, Daracel, is that not true? Sherry, is that not true?
That is very true. You can go up to just so far as long as it's not disrespectful.
You're not trying to stop their flow. Do your thing, baby. Everything, but we're gonna be the big brothers. Me and Jay mastered the art of going in the club and positioning ourselves to where we can see everything. Jay, is that not true?
That's the truth. Yeah.
We don't sit in any seat. We literally walk through in position where nobody's behind us. We can see everything. So if these women go out to dance and go to the bar, go to the bathroom, we know where they're at all times.
And actually, there was a lot of nonverbal communication.
Correct.
We can look at Tasha or Daracel, and they can look at us a certain way, and we'll stop what we're doing. We'll come over here because they know.
Sierra, before
you pretty good guy. We wasn't going.
Sierra, you before you married Jay, we did it for you too. You know what I'm saying? We're watching, looking like, okay, we don't mind you having fun. So what she's talking about is this is unwanted attention. She didn't bring on, she didn't advertise. It is, that's why I just read that part about women. There are real transgressions that happen to women. There's not a woman on here right now, that every day of your life you're not disrespected just about. I'm sure when you stop to get gas, when you're in a grocery store, when you're going to get to the pharmacy, when you're picking your child up, somebody's giving you some unwanted attention that you didn't ask for.
Right.
Yeah, but that's not disrespect.
It is disrespect.
But it is in most cases.
Yeah.
Jerry, I'm agreeing with you. It would be different if somebody came. See, Jerry, here it is. In 2020, they're not coming to them saying, "Hey, you look really nice today." You know what I'm saying?
No, they're saying, "Look at all that ass walking the gas station."
That's what I'm.
Girl, you got a fat ass. That's
Who
what
said
What
that?
the
Who
mouth
said
do?
that?
Shit
Who
like
said
that.
But to Jerry's point, let me ask you, Jerry. Are you saying just because they look or they may make a compliment that is not disrespectful?
It's
Because
like,
we got eyes. If I see somebody I'm
say it
interested
again.
in,
Say it
I'm
again.
asking you a question. Jerry, were you saying that just because you look, that's not disrespectful, right? Is that what the point you was making?
He's
No,
agreeing with
it's breaking up a little bit. He's
Okay.
saying because of the looks.
Jerry,
No.
he's
What
saying
I'm
that.
asking you, right? Go ahead, Freddie. I was asking, were you inferring that just because you look at a woman and you're attracted to that woman, whether it be her outside appearance or her conversation, that's not disrespectful? That's what you're saying, right?
No,
We agree
You're
with
not
you.
saying
when
that?
you come out of your mouth a certain way, that's disrespectful.
We agree with you.
Of
Now,
course,
When you don't treat a
right.
woman, when
agree
you
with
don't treat a woman like a woman, or a lady like a
Now, we
lady,
agree with
or a girl like a girl,
We agree with
that's
you.
disrespectful.
I agree with you.
We agree with you. Looking is okay, but
Yeah.
I'm trying to admit to you guys, I've been that ultra disrespectful, and I'm having to learn to be different, because I am that guy that say, "Oh my God, she got a fat pumping ass." I am that guy.
I could never say that. Like I told y'all prior, I grew up in the house with 7 women.
Be different. I am that guy. But again, I've had to learn how to hold that in now, because I'm now terrified that I know I can't say that. I damn sure can't say it in the workplace. Y'all actually
But black,
go
black,
or whatever in Atlanta.
black.
I'm
When you
in
were
Atlanta.
black, when you were saying that, you were saying that to girls. You wasn't saying it to women. You
I'm saying
understand?
whoever crossed my path.
Yeah, but you wasn't saying
No,
it. You wasn't saying it to women. You were
when
saying pretty
when
much.
when I was in Atlanta
girls.
just a couple months ago, he was saying it to women, but women take it differently when you're with another woman.
Thank you,
It's
Nick.
less threatening. It was taken as a compliment because they don't know who I am. So
We was in Dugan's, and there was an older lady who had a body that was ridiculous, right, Darcel?
yes.
Darcel, you start looking at it?
Darcel, what did I say? Darcel, what did I say?
Yeah, I told her she looked good. I mean, if a woman looks good, she looks good. I gave her a compliment.
But Darcel,
But
this was an older woman who was assured
yeah,
of herself. She wasn't
yeah,
offended, but at the same
no,
time, I wasn't ultra disrespectful either.
right,
But I did make my comment. And so
yeah,
again, what was germane to this conversation is that's the whole point. We've got to figure out a new way to navigate the waters of being able to be complimentary, to still be men, to still show interest without crossing the line. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole thing.
But you could do it with looks. The way you look at something.
I'm agreeing with you.
Like when dinner come to your table, you look at it, you like, damn.
We're not in disagreement. I'm agreeing with you. But what
looks.
this whole thing is about is that you can't get everything you want out of a look. So we're talking about what we can say, what we can do.
Yes, you really can. Yes, you really can. Black, you
You
can.
can't get everything out of a look.
See, Black, you got to understand. And you said it a long time ago. You chose it. You don't choose.
I agree with that point. But at some point, you got to say something. So let's say you're sitting in that whatever, sports bar, church, whatever, and the look is right. They appreciate you. So let's say they choose you. This is where we start this conversation. So now they choose you and you go on the first date. We're back to the same thing. Do you pay? Do you go Dutch? If you do pay, do you expect anything? If you are on this date, do you reach out and ask for a kiss? Do you put your arm around the shoulder? If you feel an attraction and your eyes all there, do you hold their hand? Because any of these things could lead to that whole thing where you cross the line.
I think understand. All right, my motto always been it's more fun once they give it. You understand? I never took nothing. What? Once they giving you, they love it. I never took nothing. I don't give a fuck if they was drunk, tipsy, whatever. Yo, I'll drop you to your door. I'll let you go.
All right, Epstein, calm down.
My dead honest truth.
Thank you.
I'm gonna be dead honest. No,
Okay.
I never took nothing like that. I never.
You're gonna be in court next week.
Never.
I wish I could say that. I wish I could say that.
Never. Yo, I never. Never.
Well, then
Never.
for Jerry, then I guess it would be best if women just be like, "Hey, yo, what's up with that dick?" And we just call you out across the room like that.
No, but I never took nothing. Nothing. But I can see with our chemistry, the chemistry going. I can see where it's going. You understand?
Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead, Jay.
What about when they want you to take it?
When they what?
I said, what about when they want you to take it?
What did he say?
He said, "What about when they want you to take it?"
Yo,
Is it an open invitation? Like they say that?
But you still see that they want you to take it.
So that's what he's
You
asking.
understand?
What about what happened?
But you still see but you still see that chemistry that they
But you
want
still
you to take.
talking.
We're asking, what about when the chemistry is there, and now you can tell in their eyes, they look, they smile, they want you to take it. What do you do?
That ain't gonna let.
Shit, I look like you. I look like you right now. Like I look at him and start thinking. Honestly, yo, one thing you gotta understand. It's a trick. You in the land.
It's a what?
New York is in New York is a tricky subject. You understand? Because God forbid if you do some shit like that, you definitely gonna walk past. It might be not today. It might not be tomorrow.
So what do you do in New York when all the I's are dotted?
I pass it on. Yo, Black. I'm be honest with you. It's so plentiful. I pass it on.
You're not answering our question. When they want you to take it, what do you do?
That nigga let
I take it.
Jerry, we don't need help.
Yeah, but you got some. You got some that when you take it, and it keeps saying no, don't mean yes.
I'm asking when they want you to.
No means no, Jerry. No means no.
Honestly, I choke the shit out of them and I take it now. You got it, man. You satisfied, motherfucker. You satisfied now, motherfucker. Fuck. You satisfied now. I choke the shit out of them and I take it. Hey, and I'd be like the guy said, what did he say? He said, I wait for them to call me tomorrow, and I'd be praying, and they say, oh, you treating me such like a lady. I'm like, okay, I can breathe.
I can't follow that, y'all. I cannot follow that, y'all.
You got 13 minutes, man. Wrap this shit up.
Jerry. Okay, I'm gonna go around. Please give me one thing you got from tonight's conversation. I'm gonna start with you, Jay. What you get from this conversation about dating in the Me Too era?
Well, I'll say this. I'm so happy I'm there. I think it's a different world now when it comes to dating.
Yes.
And I don't necessarily understand it. I understand that the things that we used to do 15, 20 years ago, you can't do those things anymore.
Correct.
So when you said you're scared, I see why.
Yes.
When you talk about the Me Too movement, I agree with Daracel and Candace. I think it's just it's taken out of context now, and there truly are people that have been victimized, and those people have been kind of pushed to the side. There's got so many people now, Me Too, Me Too, Me Too, that truthfully nothing. They shouldn't be a part of that movement.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah.
So, but I think it's a good conversation, some good dialogue. I thank y'all for allowing us to come home here. It's always entertaining, but it's educational too. It's very, very educational, and I'm gonna try to log on a little bit more often. So
thank you, thank you. Appreciate you, my brother. Thank you, Tiara, for being a part of it. Candace, what you get from tonight's conversation about dating?
It seems very tricky these days, but I don't know. I mean, it still seems like based off of from hearing the guys, pretty girls get it all still. So if I was single,
that ain't gonna change.
If I was single, at least I know my food would still get paid for. But
Who said you pretty?
That ain't gonna never change.
But other than that, this was a really good show. Thank you for having me on here. And that's it.
Sherry, come on, man. What you get from tonight, man?
I got a lot from it. Every time I listen to you, even if I'm participating and not participating, I always get. It's very informative. You know what I'm saying? And I like the views of different women, the way they talk. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
And I would like to see Sherry, if she was 30 years younger, what would she do out here now?
Okay, Sherry. On that note, I'm on you, Sherry. What you get from tonight's conversation?
Jerry, you know who I am, my nigga. Stop playing. You know what? I'm sending somebody in your bus. They're gonna put their butt on your head. Stop playing.
You gotta put.
So Sherry, what you get from tonight's conversation about dating in the Me Too era?
I get that you keep trying to shut me down because I think I'm a little too raw. Yeah. I think I'm a little too raw here. I got my views. No, but for real, I enjoyed tonight's show, and I learned a lot, from a lot of different people on here, and y'all ladies on here, y'all must show me the way, cause I guess I'm gonna be honest with you. I guess I'm too old school. You on here. I guess I still that she is not paying. They better pay. I don't know if that's the right way or the wrong way, but that's my way. You know what I mean?
I got you. Cherish, peek your head in here, sweetheart. Did you get anything from tonight's conversation?
Yes. It was a good show. I see that we all live different lives when it comes to dating, depending on our aura and what we do. But I mean, my way is my way.
Absolutely. I love it. Thank you. Lady D, the floor is yours.
I just want to say that the Me Too area, I think for women, we're cool. For men, you just have to look for signals, ask for permission and, set boundaries, because you don't ever want that woman coming back say you did something to her that she did not want. I mean, you gotta. Yeah. And Sherry, we talked about this before. Just slick the tip, baby. You got this.
After all this COVID stuff is over, these ladies supposed to visit me. And
yes, I'm ready. I'm ready to go whenever. So
you want to get choked, D?
That's what's up. That's what's up.
My daughter, y'all.
There's nothing in
what you say, Cherish?
There's nothing in
D
you.
said you want to get choked.
Cherish, I didn't hear you, baby. What you say?
I said there's nothing in New York. It's boring there.
Y'all all come to Atlanta.
All of us together, we gonna have a good time.
Everybody need to come to Atlanta. Ain't that right, Candace? Candace, we'll show up.
Yeah.
Come to Atlanta. Atlanta got to go. McMahon.
If you want to come down south, come to Little Rock. I got you.
Come on, you might get shot, but we gonna have a good time. I tell you that.
You know what, Jay? Jay got a badass crib. We might have to make that happen.
I got you.
We might have to
I got you.
We might have to make that happen. You know what, Jay? We might have to make that happen.
Where Jay located at?
Anytime.
Room for me?
He in Little Rock. Huh?
Little Rock?
He in Little Rock.
Yeah.
You gotta guess.
Get out of here.
No. We gonna talk about that. What?
I was talking to June. I said, June, you got a guest room for me? I'm coming.
Yeah, you can have my bedroom. I got you. Come on, Terrence, you already know.
So that's what's up. We about to make that happen. Tasha. Tasha. last words on what we've got from dating in the Me Too era.
Great show, all in all. We don't have the answers. We know how complicated it is. There is no definitive answer of how, obviously, with the panel that we have, there's no right or wrong answer, no definitive way of how to treat everyone. We're all individuals. We're all equals. And I think that, for me, what I got out of it is, for a little bit, I think we as women, sometimes we got to be more of a partner. We got to think that we're actually equal sometimes, and not just let them do everything, not let them have all the reins in this instance of that first date. It's okay if we do something different and step outside of those. We're demanding something different of them. So, I envy those who have their own individual marriages and relationships, because you have something secured and that you're not out here right now dealing with what we have to deal with as single people. And I implore you, I beg you, hold on to that, because it's hard out here right now. It's hard. And it's not getting any easier. People aren't getting any better. But I love the conversations we have. It really does. However far this reaches on the internet, I believe that a lot of people are going to get a lot out of this, and to know that it's still a lot out, a lot up in the air, and there's still a lot of those unanswered questions. But we as women, we have to give those signals to let them know that it's okay to proceed. They don't have to be as cautious.
Thank you. Well said. To echo all of that, we didn't solve anything tonight, y'all. We had some fun by opening up the dialogue and talking about a serious subject in a very fun way. And I love the fact that as individuals, we coming at this from different points of view. I love what Tasha said a moment ago. If you're in a married state situation, count your blessings. You know what I'm saying? Because the waters out here in the dating scene is very scary, it's very tricky, and there is no right or wrong. We're all trying to figure this thing out together. You know what I'm saying? When you think about dating and how scary it is to meet somebody new, to try to form a connection and to hope it leads to something serious in the midst of all of the minutia and the bullshit that you have to deal with, it's a terrifying prospect. And so I didn't even get a chance to share not even a fourth of the material that I looked up. If you Google dating in the Me Too era, you're going to be bombarded with articles, because it's as real as COVID-19. It's scary. Men are confused. Women are confused. There's a lot of apathy on both sides of the coin. I love that we were able to share our views and do it in a way that we even agree to disagree in areas, but I hope that we found a little bit of common ground in some kind of ways. And so this is not the last time we'll talk about this. And as Tasha said, however far it reaches, I'm thankful for all of you to take the time out to come in tonight to share your views, share your opinions. It's helped me. I hope you got something out of it. I hope people get something out of it. And at the end of the day, we all just trying to figure this thing out together, whether you're married, single, divorced, gay, straight, whatever the case might be. Dating is difficult. It's hard, So at the end of the day, from a humane point of view, we all want to be loved. We all want to be liked. We all trying to find somebody that we can be with, and until that time, we're going to keep doing it until we try to get it right. So I thank everybody, and I look forward to having you guys. I'll hopefully tune in for the next shows. We're going to keep this thing going. I love all of you. I love your views. Thank you for making me, a better person in this, doing this every week. I love you all. I want to thank you. So everybody have a great, great week. Once again, it's been another edition of Real Talk.
All right.
Can I say
Take
one
care.
more thing?
Sure.
Please. I'm sorry.
No.
Everybody knows that I work in healthcare. Please wear your mask. The hospitals are filling up. They don't have any beds. They're only reserving like a small number of ICU beds for urgent and emergent care, stab wounds, gunshots, i.e.
Wow.
So, because all the COVID patients are taking up beds, please, please, please encourage your family, friends, anybody you know, wear masks or don't go out if you don't have to. Okay, that's just, we got to
Thank
keep
you.
our people safe because
Thank
we
you.
filling up the beds,
Thank-
y'all, because we hard headed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep your
I
people
appreciate that.
safe. That's all I want to say. Thank you. Bye.
Good night.
Thank you. All right. Good night.